Hey there guys, how are y'all doing today? Welcome to Review Sesh. If you've been here before, I really appreciate you coming back to visit me. And if you haven't been here before, give me just one moment. Let me tell you a little bit about who I am and what I do. So my name's Mike, and what I do is I review federally legal hemp products and devices. So it doesn't really matter whether it's a consumable product of any kind, or whether it's a functional device of any type. We're going to be checking all of that stuff out on this channel. I really do hope you enjoy the content that I'm making for you. So guys, today we're going to be looking at another classic. We are doing a flower review today, and this is another classic. And it's coming to us from Wilin9. But before we get into it, guys, I want to go ahead and I'm going to kick it back to the previous me. And he's going to go ahead and reiterate a little bit about what we do on this channel. And he may even be able to explain a little bit about what THCa is, for those of you guys who may not, be 100% certain about what we're dealing with here. And then after that, we're going to hop right into the review. Alright, as you guys know, I review federally legal hemp products and devices on this channel. And some of these products have THCA in the name. And THCA is one of those things that has an awful lot of people confused right now. So if you're one of those people that's confused, give me just one moment. Let me explain a little bit. I might be able to educate you a little bit about what THCA actually is. And THCA stands for tetrahydrocannabinolic acid. And it's the naturally occurring compound found on all hemp plants everywhere. Basically, it's the precursor to what we know now as Delta 9, THC. All right. So, in and of itself, though, guys, THCA is not psychoactive. You're not going to go out and eat a piece of a hemp plant and get any elevated effects. It does not work like that. It first has to undergo a process called decarboxylation. And decarboxylation may sound like a fancy chemistry word, and it's because it is, but it's very simple in principle. And it simply means application of heat. So it doesn't really matter whether it's environmental heat, just the heat of the sun, it's a hot day outside, or, we're applying some artificial heat with some flame or with an electronic heat source like I like to use. We are decarboxylating that THCA molecule and it's dropping that A right off the end of that molecule chain and it's leaving you with good old fashioned THC. So, guys, I want to be very clear on this. For all intents and purposes, the THC that everybody that you've ever spoken to or has ever spoken about before this, before 2018, they have been referring to THCA, the naturally occurring compound found on the plant. All right? Very clear about that. It is basically the same thing everybody's always spoken about. But the great thing is, since 2018 in the federal farm bill, we can get all these things to our doors. We don't have to go out and, you know, deal with strange people at odd times of night, potentially go out and, waste our time at the least and risk our safety at the worst. Now we just get it mailed to us, and when you get your packages in the mail, you're going to be getting something like this. This is a notice to law enforcement and the Postal Service. And it just dictates what is in the package, and it does list the applicable sections of the 2018 Farm Bill that the things in the package are covered under. Very important to hold on to these guys. You don't want to get rid of these right now. They pack flat. Just hold on to them. There's no reason to throw these out at this moment. For the foreseeable future, hold on to these and hold on to any COAs or certificates of analysis that you may have with your products. All right. All right. Now that we got that cleared up, we're going to be checking out a classic today. This is G.S.C. And for those of you who aren't sure what G.S.C. stands for, that is Girl Scout cookies. It's one of the classics, one of the new classics. And we'll get into a little bit about the strain here in just a second, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at this packaging for a little bit. This is really nice packaging on the Wilin9 packs. Really, really nice packaging. Double sealed. There's actually a little pocket of air in here. You can tell that it's sealed really nicely right there. There's zip seals here and then additional ones up here and then the perforation there. Double perforated on both sides, so that's very good too. I'm getting a little bit better at opening up these Mylar packs. Okay, on the nose, it's Girl Scout cookies, guys. Earthy, sweet, maybe a little bit of pungent spice. maybe. Soft enough where I know I'm probably gonna taste some vanilla in there somewhere. Probably gonna taste some hint of vanilla in there somewhere. And here are the nugs. This is an eighth right there. A little bit of variation in the nug size. We are talking about some extremely, extremely dense flower here. And it does have some stick, as you can see. So, like usual, guys, we're going to be taking a cut here. I'm going to be getting some good photos of this. And then we're going to be back and we're going to talk a little bit about the strain. I'm going to try it out and I'll let you know what I think. I've had an awful lot of Girl Scout cookies in my time, and I'm sure you guys have too. Several of you probably have too. And, we constantly consume Girl Scout cookies, whether we realize it or not. If you haven't had it straight, nearly everything you've had does have some amount of Girl Scout cookies somewhere in its lineage, and we'll get into that here momentarily. But for now, hang tight, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back, and I've got some great shots of this Girl Scout cookies, or G.S.C. from Wilin9. I was taking some shots of this. It does look fairly nice. Really good trichome density, good coverage. Um, really nice. And as I'm breaking it up, it really does have that classic kind of Girl Scout cookie type smell to it. It's a bit earthy and it's got some, a hint of vanilla and stuff in there. I do believe I'm gonna get a very traditional Girl Scout cookie kind of taste from this. So we're gonna go ahead and grind some of this up. We're gonna see what we got there. So Girl Scout cookies, guys, for those of you guys that don't know, was brought into popular culture by cookies. Used to be known as uh, what, the Cookie Fam or something like that, or the Cookie Club or something like that. But then they actually branded and they became the brand name cookies that we all know today. Um, Founded by Berner. This cut was, I believe, created by a friend of his, if not him directly. And cookies has become one of those things that's kind of ubiquitous. And we do have quite a lot of shake, or not shake, but keef on this. Quite a lot of keef. Very nice looking keef, very clean looking keef. So you guys will be seeing a couple of keef shots. I'm going to make sure I'm going to set this aside on top of my microscope, so I will be sure not to forget to take those keef shots. All right, so we're going to be trying this with a couple of different pieces today. I do believe we might use both devices, I'm not sure, but we're going to be using a couple of different pieces of glass. One of them you can only see from the main camera here, and that is this piece right here. That is the Cozy Molds divining hand piece, and I have it set up for a nice little tasting rig type thing. That's where I get my good tastes from. And in this right here with this matrix titanium matrix bowl, this is the big hit. This is where I take one to the dome, so to speak. We're going to be using the weed box piece from January. Very, very nice grind on here. It is of the moisture level is dry enough that I believe I will get a very, very nice vape off of this. Um, so let's give it a try. Let's see what we get. It should be fairly traditional Girl Scout cookies. Yep. That's what I expect. Do have some of that pungent, sweet, spicy stuff going for it. Very smooth, ever so slight hint of vanilla. Um, so looking up Girl Scout cookies real quick on Allbud. You guys know I use Allbud for a lot of my information. Looking up on here, what we have, it is an indica dominant hybrid at 60/40. Average THC content's about 28%, and it does have 1% CBD and 1% CBN on average in it. So it's a good, well-rounded, full spectrum flower. All right. And it is very, this one's very potent, actually. It's hitting me pretty quick. Its effects include, creative, euphoria, relaxing. It's gonna make you happy and relaxed. It's an indica dominant hybrid, and might help with anxiety, depression, insomnia, loss of appetite, migraines, nausea, stress, yada yada. If it's going to relax you at all, a lot of that stuff is going to be solved um, with the relaxation. Um, the insomnia thing and the nausea thing, well, that's both the CBN and the CBD. Both of those things are affected by CBN and CBD, respectively. Um, so yeah, all of that stuff's pretty on it. And I mean, it is very sweet. It is very sweet. Now we're gonna try this in the larger bowl, and yeah, we're just gonna keep using the one hit wonder. One hit wonder. Currently, this is my favorite device, guys. I love this thing. I use it every day. Most every time I sesh, I'm using this. Great, great device. Thanks to the Dab Hut for sponsoring the fantastic mat and for helping to develop this device. So, mhm. There it is. There it is. There's that. There's that cookie. That one got me. I was really trying for a good flavorful hit, and you guys know I hit these things dry, so I can't get that flavor. It's a little trick. Be very careful, especially if you're running one of these things. If you run it a little hot, it'll get you. But phenomenal flavor. So it's worth taking my licks every now and then. Um, wow. Okay, guys, here's what I got on that hit. Definitely still sweet. Definitely still have that has that vanilla. But guys, I will be slapped if that wasn't like straight, like almost sugar cookie for just a split second. Like almost just straight sugar cookie for like half a second. Threw me for a loop, guys. Like wow. And I mean, when you're thinking Girl Scout cookies, you're kind of anticipating that cookie flavor, but when it hits you so strongly, very, very nice, very pleasant, very surprising. Um, to get that much of a heavy hit. Um, wow, very, very nice. This I would say is a pretty good example of Girl Scout cookies. Now, looking at the strain, Girl Scout cookies, guys, as you guys may know, I mentioned previously, is one of two strains that seems to be ubiquitous in all of the genetics in the West, out here, in the States, or at least North American genetics. And those typically, a lot of the stuff that you're seeing, most of the stuff you're seeing down the line genetically, has got a cross of Girl Scout cookies and or OG Kush. This really strong flower, to be quite honest, guys. Hit me pretty good. OG Kush. Those two strains seem to dominate the genetics out here in the West. And for good reason. I mean, it's a very versatile strain. It's very um, crossworthy. It can cross it with just about anything. I mean, think about it. If you can make cookies with it, you can cross with it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. Um, and it is so versatile that it's in almost everything. And OG Kush is so versatile because it is a classic Kush. It is the OG. If you're wanting to cross with a Kush, that's the one you go to. So it makes sense. It makes sense. Now, one of the biggest cuts of Girl Scout cookies, and one that most of us are familiar with, is actually the Thin Mint cut, which was the first cross cut pheno of Girl Scout cookies. And that's the one that started to add a little bit more on the mint side, and it started to punch a little bit more toward the menthol and herbal flavoring for the terpenes and potentially even the flavonoids. I'm still trying to learn about those flavonoids, guys. But it started to push closer toward those flavor profiles and further away from the vanilla and sweet type of thing. So more mint, less vanilla type of thing. And the thin mint cut has been used in so many different things itself. It's crazy. Um, and uh, for what we have here, Girl Scout cookies, I don't see it going anywhere. I would like to see more variety in our genetics here in the States, but I don't see Girl Scout cookies going anywhere. And honestly, I don't think it should go anywhere. It is highly, highly versatile. Um, Everybody, has it in their rotation somewhere. I don't know a single person that absolutely just can't stand Girl Scout cookies. And because I mean, who that would make no sense if it's in nearly everything. Why would anybody say they couldn't stand it? You know what I mean? It's like, but that's what you have all the time, right? For a lot of us, a lot of the stuff that we like, if you go back in the genetics, there's Girl Scout cookies somewhere in there. So thank you to cookies. Thank you, Burner, and everybody that brought this strain to us because it's been a real step forward in genetic genetics and cultivation of this plant. And we have a lot more to go. These are the guys that follow the guys like Jack Herer, and Jorge Cervantes and stuff like that. And these are the guys that follow those guys. And then now we've got you know myself and others, and the guys over at Green World. We're following cookies and the other guys. That so it's generationally, as we go further generationally with breeding and with genetics and the people that breed these plants and that come up with new genetics, things just get better and better and better. And I'm telling you guys, here in the next few years, there's going to be some things that are going to be revolutionizing um, what we know about this plant. Um, Things that we never even thought was possible as far as flavor profile and efficacy and just our understanding. It's about to explode. The world is about to discover this plant as if it's discovering it for the first time again. Wait and see. So buckle up, guys. It's going to be a wild ride over the next few years. Mhm. Oh my goodness. That cookie is right there. That actual sugar cookie. Taking it through a little further. I am going to be pushing this bowl to its limits. I'm going to try to get it as toasty as possible because I am starting to get some notes of a certain sweet nuttiness, and that's something to be expected with Girl Scout cookies. It's something that a lot of people get with Girl Scout cookies, but it is something that comes later in the terpene profile, as the terpenes cook off. Um, so a lot of us that have had Girl Scout cookies previously, we have gotten that nutty hit along with everything else as soon as we take our first hit. Um, Not so when you're vaping. When you're vaping, you can almost take this thing through its entire flavor profile. It's very, very nice. That's why one of the main reasons I enjoy it. Also, the major lack of additional carcinogens and stuff like that. It's just way cleaner. Hmm. Definitely getting a little nutty. I'm going to finish it off with this thermal twist. I am running this at a lower heat than that right there. So hopefully we won't be combusting. Hmm. That bowl is well and truly done, guys. So I've had quite a lot of Girl Scout cookies in my time, G.S.C, what have you, and I would say this is a fairly good representation of the strain. Um, Honestly, if I were to rate this 1 to 10 for how good of a representation of Girl Scout cookies this would be an 8.5. Um, it could have been a little bit better on. I don't know. I kind of would have wished it would have been a little bit closer toward the thin mint cut side. You know what I mean? So I can't really say it's anything against the flower itself. It's just like, man, I really wish I could have gotten a little bit closer to that thin mint side. There isn't really much in the way of mint coming through on this G.S.C. This is a very sugar cookie forward G.S.C. Um, and kind of I hope and get to see a thin mint cut soon. But I do hope you've enjoyed this little review of G.S.C from Wilin9. Really, really good example of the flower, and really very pretty, very pretty nugs too. Very, very pretty nugs. All right, guys. I hope you all have been doing very well. I hope you've been taking care of yourselves and your loved ones. And for myself, I have a lot of work ahead of me. This is the first video of several that I'm filming. And by the time I'm done with them, I expect to be totally just worn out, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to get to my other videos. Until I see you next time, I want you guys to continue to take care of yourselves and continue to take care of your loved ones. And you may actually be seeing, a couple a day for the next week or so. Not going to be dropping them at the same time. I'm probably going to be dropping them about 12 hours apart. So if you see them at midnight, expect to see them at noon, that sort of thing. Do have some coming up that I'll be working on very shortly, and they're kind of familiar and kind of similar to each other. They're similar strains, so I'm going to be running those side by side. So keep an eye out for those. Because same day we're going to be looking at two very similar strains with a very similar cross, and we'll be talking all about that. So make sure you have the bell icon clicked. Make sure you're, liking, commenting, subscribing, all of that great stuff. And if you guys are interested in any of the stuff that I use here, if you're interested in the Dab Hut or, you know, any of these crossing products or, the weed box or anything else, just check out my uh, campsite.bio on my bio, and that'll take you anywhere you need to go. I also have links to a couple of other Discord servers, including the Green World Discord servers. So come over there and join us. And there is anything you guys would like to see on this channel, anything you're tired of seeing, any improvements that you think I should be making. As you can see, I'm working on making a lot of improvements. Just let me know, and I'll be sure to get to it. Till I see you next time, I want you to take care of yourselves. I want you to stay lifted. I want you to stay blessed. I'll talk to you very, very soon. Peace.